At my brother's extravagant 30th birthday gala, he toasted to his self-made commercial real estate empire. I grabbed the microphone and asked, then why is the ears waiting on the dock to seize this yacht for embezzling my inheritance? I watched my mother drop her champagne flute. Then the federal agents boarded the vessel. Uncle Arthur passed away unexpectedly 4 years ago from a sudden heart attack. He owned a massive, highly profitable logistics company in Seattle. We were incredibly close. He used to slip me $50 bills during Sunday dinners and actually listened when I talked about my career goals. After the funeral, my parents told me Arthur's business was completely bankrupt and his estate was entirely dissolved to pay off angry creditors. I didn't question it. I was too busy drowning. I was working 3 grueling jobs, scanning barcodes at a warehouse from dawn until dusk, and delivering food until 2:00 a.m. for terrible tips. I was sleeping on a deflated air mattress in a windowless basement, surviving on peanut butter sandwiches and instant coffee. I had $112 in my checking account and a crushing $42,500 in medical debt from a severe car accident. Every time I considered asking my family for a small loan, I remembered my parents claiming they were financially strapped. I repeated that lie to myself until it became my reality. Meanwhile, my older brother Julian was living a completely different life. He married a local influencer, and his social media was an endless parade of Italian sports cars, custom-tailored suits, and VIP club tables. I vividly remember his post captioned, "Hard work pays off. Just closed on my 3rd downtown warehouse." I double-tapped the photo and kept scrolling, far too exhausted to feel any jealousy or suspicion. Everything shattered on a random Tuesday morning at 9:15 a.m. I was summoned to a federal building in downtown Seattle for what I assumed was a routine identity theft inquiry. An ears criminal investigation agent named Vance sat across from me in a sterile, fluorescent lit room. He slid a stack of official K-1 tax forms across the metal desk. The documents showed $340,000 in commercial rental income, legally tied directly to my social security number for the past 3 years. Julian's shady accountant had made a catastrophic clerical error. The properties Julian had been parading around were actually the core assets of Uncle Arthur's supposedly bankrupt estate. My parents and Julian had intercepted the executor's mail, forged my signature on a comprehensive renunciation of inheritance, and illegally transferred the lucrative deeds into a blind trust controlled entirely by Julian. I sat in that freezing federal office for 2 hours. Then, Agent Vance and I started strategizing. The ears doesn't just want back taxes, they want the entire fraudulent network dismantled. We needed to freeze the assets while Julian was distracted, locking him out of his offshore accounts before he could panic and wire the stolen funds away. Julian's 30th birthday party was the perfect operational window. He had chartered a massive luxury yacht on Lake Washington, inviting over 100 local investors and socialites to celebrate his genius. My parents were the guests of honor. I wasn't invited, but Vance's tactical team secured me a spot on the catering staff manifest. I walked onto the main deck just as the sunset hit the water. I kept my head down, serving hors d'oeuvres, watching Julian expertly charm the crowd. My parents beamed with pride, loudly telling anyone who would listen how Julian had pulled himself up by his bootstraps. The psychological toll of watching them celebrate stolen wealth while I had spent 3 years skipping meals was suffocating, but I knew exactly what was coming. Right at 8 p.m., Julian tapped his crystal glass and stepped up to the main stage. He launched into a smug, motivational speech about grinding through adversity and building an empire. I dropped my serving tray. The heavy clatter echoed across the deck. I walked straight up the wooden steps, took the microphone from his hand, and asked the question. Julian's face drained of all color. He looked like a ghost. He stammered something about a misunderstanding, trying to nervously laugh it off for the bewildered crowd. My parents rushed the stage, with my dad yelling that I was having a mental breakdown and ruining my brother's special night. I just pointed toward the starboard side. A police interceptor boat was pulling alongside the yacht. Agent Vance stepped over the railing, flanked by 3 uniformed officers holding thick manila folders. He didn't yell. He just calmly served Julian with a massive federal tax evasion indictment, a grand jury subpoena, and an emergency asset freeze injunction. The yacht was legally seized on the spot because the charter was paid for using stolen trust funds. Julian looked at me, his hands shaking violently. "You destroyed everything," he whispered. I looked right back into his panicked eyes. "You destroyed yourself 4 years ago. I just made sure you had an audience for the finale." The party ended immediately. The Coast Guard escorted the yacht back to the marina, where Julian was formally taken into federal custody. My parents are currently under investigation for conspiracy to commit wire fraud. The commercial properties are slowly being untangled by the federal courts and reverted back to my name. I don't feel vindicated or happy. I just feel incredibly tired. But yesterday, I finally paid off my entire medical debt in a single transaction, and that is all I will say about that.